scavengers we avoid eating. Well, the case of the sea is unique, as I said, and we cannot use this argument. The other argument, which is that of the crab, that the crab kills with the claw, and the Prophet ﷺ said that we shouldn't eat birds which kill with the claw. Well, that's birds. These are crabs. These are animals, again, of the sea. It's not, we cannot use and say, well, because they kill also with the claw. No, this is not an applicable principle here. So, all of the sea creatures, the shrimp, we have lobsters, we have shark, we have a variety of different animals of the sea. We're allowed to eat them, unless we know that they're particularly of some harm to us. Our next question is a question which comes in from Muhammad, writes in from Sharjah. Dear Dr. Bilal, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. What exactly should Muslims do and say when they hear the adhan? What if in my area we can hear 3 or 4 adhans in sequence? Do we repeat supplications for all of them? Well, when the adhan is sounded, this is the adhan being the call to prayer, Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, instructed us that we should repeat what is said. So when the mu'adhin, the one who is making the call to prayer, says Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, then we ourselves should say, quietly, relatively quiet to ourselves, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We repeat what is said. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, we repeat that. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, we repeat that. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. When he says Hayya ala salah and Hayya ala falah, we say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. In both those occasions, and when afterwards he says Allahu Akbar, and we repeat again Allahu Akbar, he says La ilaha illallah, we say La ilaha illallah. And following that, there is a dua which the Prophet ﷺ had recommended that we say Allahumma rabba hadhi ad-da'wati at-tamma wa salati al-qa'ima ati Muhammadan al-wasila wal-fadila wa ba'athu maqam mahmudan alladhi wa'adta. This dua can be found in books of dua. It's a supplication in which we're saying, we're asking that Allah give us the reward of this prayer and accept the prayer which is coming following it, and that Muhammad, may God's peace be upon him, be given a special place in paradise as the one who guided us to Islam and to the practice of Islam. This is the dua that we make. We're asking blessing for ourselves and asking blessing for Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him. Now, if in our area there are 3 or 4 different adhans which you can hear, because there are enough mosques in proximity so you can hear them all calling the adhan, it's enough for us to repeat, as I mentioned, and make the dua, repeat the adhan, the words of the adhan, and mention the dua for one of them. It's not necessary to do it for all 4. The one which obviously is the clearest, that we can hear most clearly, or the one which we hear first. If we hear one when it's relatively clear, we can go with that one. So it's not required for us to repeat all of the adhans, make du'as for all of the adhans. I should mention here also that when we're repeating what is being said, we should reflect on what is being said. That it's not just the muadhin says Allahu Akbar, and we just ritualistically say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We should reflect on what Allahu Akbar means. That is, that Allah is greater than all things. And when we reflect on that, Allah is greater than all things, this is also reflection on ourselves, of how insignificant we are and how dependent we are on Allah. So in that way, we go through all of the different statements of the adhan and try to reflect on them so we take benefit from it. Similarly, the dua which is said at the end, we should reflect on the meanings and not just do these things in a ritualistic fashion. We have time, I think, for one more question. This question is from Ali Muhammad, who is writing in from Sharjah. Dear Dr. Bilal, Assalamu alaikum. It's always a pleasure for me to hear you on Sharjah television. Your lectures on Islam and answers to questions are authentic, convincing, and to the point. I wish to ask you a question. My wife wears niqab, and someone recently said to me that scholars have called this type of hijab haram. This is a big fatwa. Is there any proof for this? Ali Muhammad is writing from Sharjah, saying his wife wears niqab. Niqab meaning the veil which covers the lower part of the face, leaving the eyes visible. And he said that he heard someone say, the scholars have said that this type of hijab meaning the covering, a woman covering herself, where she should cover everything, basically except for her face and hands, and it could include face or parts of the face, which is something recommended for her, especially in times where there's a lot of, corruption in the land, etc., to protect herself from the unwanted stares and gazes of those who would be the corrupt elements of the society. So he had said that he heard that some held that this was not acceptable, this type of niqab. Well, we would have to say that though it may be expressed by some, we know that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had forbidden its usage during Hajj. The very fact that he forbade the use of the niqab during Hajj indicated that it was something done outside of Hajj and which was permissible. So I would say that those who may seek to forbid this, either saying that it is not acceptable for a woman to cover this part of her face, or saying that no, she must cover everything except, for example, except for one eye or something like this. And both of the positions are, in my view, extreme. The niqab was in usage during the time of the Prophet, may God's peace be upon him, sanctioned its usage. And we know that the covering of the faces, the women covered their faces in a variety of different ways in the time of the Prophet. So it is permissible for a woman to cover her face using the niqab. This is in keeping with Islamic teachings. Dear viewers, I think our time has reached a close. There are some more questions, but for us to start the question, there would not be enough time to complete it. So we'll save some questions which we have concerning banks again. It seems like a lot of our questions focus on the banks and things connected to the banks, mainly because our lives tend to be somehow interwoven with bank dealings. And we know that Islam has taken a very strong position with regards to dealing in interest. At any rate, I'd like to thank you, dear viewers, for being with us on this segment of the program, and I hope that you will continue to follow our program, throughout the rest of the year. And we welcome your questions. You may write to me, Dr. Bilal Phillips, the program In the Light of Islam, Sharjah Television, P.O. Box 111, Sharjah, UAE. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.